their stories. That's what connects with them.
So, Prem, why storytelling is important, and it's not an art which comes out. I think it comes out from a fact that how can you simplify or how can you converse in a language which other connects with? And story is what? A story which we learned in a very innocent fashion. When our grandfathers and grandmothers were telling us stories, they were not using any technical things. And that's why the story is very important. It's the most serene form in which you can talk and communicate. So I was just just thinking about that what Fevicol did is that they wanted to tell that, you can make a bed in fastest possible time, and when you can make a adhesive which will not dissolve in water. They put a chair in the water and they just said, that's it. So they are not going into technicals that what is that X, Y, and Z chemicals in there. They conveyed the right message. Now, when it comes to the mutual fund, and please try to understand this thing that what we try to do with our industry, and many times I feel myself as a rebel in the industry, is that we keep on tom-tomming about that we have a 8 lakh crore industry and all. But look at the penetration. If you talk about retail, we are not even 3%. And we are talking about that we are a big industry and a sunrise industry will keep on growing. And the fact is something which is very different. The fact is that we have not tried to connect with the customer what he wants. We always try to sell what we want to sell. And just because that technicality or the story which we wanted to tell, the customer never wanted to listen. And that's why we are here. So how did it happen? If I ask in this room that what is the importance of a high return? Good return is very important to our customers. Is that right or wrong? So just raise your hand that good return is very important. Just raise your hand quickly. So 90% of them will raise their hand. The second example is tax efficiency is very important. Right or wrong? Raise your hands. 90%. Third is that innovation is very important. Right or wrong? Yes, everybody believes that. And that's why we have not grown. Because please try to understand the biggest financial product in India is the least tax efficient. It charges the highest rate of tax, maximum marginal rate. Zero innovation for the last 100 years. And gives the lowest possible return. The biggest bank in India gives the lowest rate of return. So all the three things which everybody of us believes that these are true, not true. And the crux lies somewhere else. And you need to understand that thing, that what is the driver for which customer goes. And it may not be the highest return, may not be the best tax, and may not be the best innovation. If he understands consistency much more, if he understands simplicity much more, just go and talk in that language. That's storytelling. So last year, if you are referring to one mass media campaign which went with into the market with Crow and Pebble story, that was just an example of that what we wanted to communicate. We wanted to communicate in the language which they understand, not in the language of NAVs and standard deviations and portfolios and all those kind of things. So when Kanak was saying number 15,000 crore dynamic bond fund, sorry, that's the old number. The current number is 18,000 plus crores. That is the largest possible non-liquid scheme in Indian mutual fund industry. We are very proud of it. And we say that we have just scratched the surface. And it is not coming because we have not talked about the size and the returns. We don't compete on returns. Those returns are good. Because we try to communicate the language which the customer understands. That if you're looking for consistency and safety and least amount of volatility, that's the only thing dynamic bond fund can offer. So we don't go and talk about technicalities. We talk about this thing because I think the customer understands that. And that pool of customers who understand simplicity is 100 and 1,000 times much bigger than the people who understand all those technicalities.
And can you share with them some thoughts on how do they go about segmenting clients differently? Even at, let's say, Birla, even when you're dealing with distributors, you have certain programs, you have certain grades given to your distributors. How do distributors use the same methodology in their own lives?
I think it's, let me oversimplify it and try to oversimplify it in the big segmentation world. I think for me, the big segmentation world comes from this is that if you go to, I think people sitting in this room are coming from very different part of this country.
Yeah.
And if you go and ask them what is the most popular staple diet or a snack in that part of the country, you'll find very different answer. In some part of the country, idli is an option. So in some part of the country, in Bombay, vada pav is an option. In North India, chole bhature and samosa is an option. And that's very clear cut. So you need to find out whether you're going to sell Subway or vada pav in Bombay. If you are trying to sell Subway till this time, then we need to expect that kind of volume only. If I want to identify that what is vada pav in Bombay and want to sell it, then the volumes will be huge if you can offer that quality. Now what we are trying to do is that if we say the bank deposit is 70 lakh crore in India, the recurring deposits are 19 crores in India, that's a segment for me. Best example is Maruti sells 55%. They sell some few million cars in a year. Audi sells 5,000. Both are successful. Both the CEOs are happy. Where is my happiness? Whether I want to be Audi or Maruti, my choice. I want to play with a segment where 70 lakh crores is there and 19 crore deposits are there. And I may be called old-fashioned and something who is not talking about very sophisticated language, so be it. That's my segmentation. I've identified my segment very clearly where 45 crore people in India are there. And that's my segment. So if I want to, when I was thinking about Jugaad, and that's the name of the session, Jugaad. What is Jugaad? Jugaad is the oversimplification of something. When you go the western part of the UP, you will find Jugaad. And what is Jugaad? A pump set, 4 wheels, few belts are putting together, and they are driving with that steering. That is called Jugaad. Jugaad is oversimplification. 1 pump set, 4 wheels, some things put together, and that is running, and everybody understands it. And the moment the time is over, they will just pull pump set out and put it in the field for irrigation. Till the time we are not going to understand it. That Jugaad means that the local language, in the language my customer understands. If my customer is not understanding the technical language we are talking, then we are self-obsessed that because we want to talk something. If you start talking the consumer language, I think in any industry I have seen, the moment you start, talking the consumer language, the rewards are completely disproportionate.
Bharat, one of your major users is the carpenter community. How have you gone about creating a niche for yourself or a special place for yourself in the carpentry community? We know, at least as consumers, we've seen a lot of your consumer advertising, which everyone here is familiar with. Tell us about how have you gone about building bridges with a particular community?
Looking at the audience, which is basically, I understand, individual financial advisor. I am not from the finance as such. I am a man of a brand. Basically, over the years, how do I develop the best brand is the science we have developed. So most of you may be wondering, as an individual financial advisor, can we think of a brand? We cannot think. Brand needs an advertising agency, brand needs a big budget, brand needs a lot of thought. In that process, how do we come to, as an individual, a good brand, which as an individual financial advisor I want to develop? I will come to carpenter, but I will be much more giving you some background which may be much more interested to them. How do I make it? I am a small guy, individual financial advisor. Then in that case, there are very, very simple tips. First of all, as you know, brand is nothing but a positioning. What is the positioning? Positioning is occupy mind of your clients. If you do it well, your brand is developed. Everybody should be very clear that this IFA is meant for this. And second thing, as he rightly said, is a trust. How do you develop the trust? Are you good in giving a good services? Are you good in keeping a regular touch, as Connect somebody said, or we call it in the carpenter community a relationship. We have a very powerful relationship. The idea being relationship brings closer to you. As rightly said, that maximum return may not be the priority of number of people, but a good relation. Then the thought comes, how do I develop a relation? Simple. Think of a Pareto principle. 20% of your client will be giving you 80% of the business. How do you keep in touch with the 20% of the client? Simple tips. Just during their birthday, can you send them a flower? Can you have a phone call? Talk to them, okay, this is what I am. See, mutual funds, big, everybody has a budget to sell. But to sell that product, you require is a good relationship. And this is where we develop a very powerful connect with the carpenter. How did we go about? What we have studied, what the carpenter wants. Now, carpenter is basically not looking after what is the solid content, what is the drying time, that is not. He just want a good performance which bonds well. So over the years, if you will see, Fevicol ad has a very simple message of strong bond, which at the end of the advertisement brings a smile. Now that gives a very powerful advantage to the consumer, which reflects in the carpenter that why don't you use a Fevicol. Now how it relates to you? It's similarly the same thing which you can do. Keep a little success story, whatever just now being told, in a smiling way. If you can make it happen, people will be with you. You don't have to be so much a serious guy in your business. You learn to have a fun, and along with the client, of course, with a very calculated way of working over it, that will bring closer to you. And this is how the good brand is built. A brand as an individual, whether Mr. A, B, C, should be known. Second, very powerful segmentation or anything. How do you do it? Are you good in a pharma industry? Are you good in a real estate? Are you good in a IT? What is the way they look? Oh, this investment, I should go to so-and-so gentleman. And this is how they work perfectly, because everybody labels you. As somebody said here, when you try to sell everything, nothing gets registered. But if you are very good in one area, everybody labels. Over the years, you may see number of shops which were selling multiple things, slowly they have started becoming focus. For example, in our industry, once upon a time, hardware, paint, plywood, laminate, adhesive, everything was common. Now everything is getting segmented. There are plywood special shop, there are laminate special shop, there are hardware special shop, there are also a paint special shop. Everybody knows if somebody has to think of a shop, they think of the shop which is specialized. Now this is where a good branding can work very well. Third tip which I will like to give you, which is again a carpenter related for IFA, catch them young. How do you do it? We introduce in our case Fevicol MR tubes just to start branding right from the younger days. This I am talking about 30 years back when I joined the organization. Now that way, how as an IFA I can develop a catch them young simple system. When an MBA starts his career, I am sure his pay package nothing less than 10 lakhs. And most of them don't know the avenue for financial. Are you good in this connect? Are you connecting the networking all over? And there are likely to be done. Third thing, which number of areas like doctors, CAs, everybody has achieved, which you can also do. Be a member of Lions Club, be a member of Rotary Clubs, be a member of any your own community, society, religion, anywhere, and make your presence felt. If you do that, I am sure this is the same thing what he asked about carpenter can be developed by. I think this answers your some of the queries for the carpenter.
Okay, great. Sorry, we're running out of time now. Basically, what we've tried to, if I were to sum up, what we've been trying to say is there's a lot of merit in being focused. There's a lot of merit in understanding your consumers' needs a lot better. There's a lot of merit in focusing on particular segments. Navin shared with us how do you communicate to people in a language, and how do you use storytelling more effectively. We just have time to take one or two questions. If there are any questions, we'd be happy to answer them. Okay.
Thank you very much. That was very interesting. My dear friends, Cafe Mutual is our online partner, media partner. We thank them for that too. And thanks to all the panelists on the dais. We have learned a lot from you today. Catch the Maying is a wonderful one we have got today. Insight, the storytelling from, as usual, the very good storyteller Navin ji. And members become, as Sir said, become a member of some associations like, instead, even the Lions Club or this thing, you get even associated with some associations like MFRT or IFA Galaxy. You get information from other things also. That also can be, you can think on. And it's a time to honor. I call on Nikhil Naik ji on the dais. Please. Thanks a lot.